Good morning, everyone. Runners, this one's for you. So we're going to get into a deep stretch for post-running. It's going to be a lot of long-held stretches. So if you're not very flexible, or if you just want to experiment, grab a block, maybe a blanket or a pillow. It's going to help you to prop yourself up and give yourself a little bit of extra space so you can really relax into each stretch. All right, so the first thing that we're going to get into is a child's pose. So come down to a mat or a ground. You don't need a mat. We're going to bring the toes together, set the hips back towards the heels, and then stretch the arms out long. And then find your breath. And then for child's pose, the knees can either be out wide or they can be a little bit closer together, just kind of depending on how your body feels. So wherever you are, find a place where you can relax your body. Begin to breathe in and out through the nose. You want to feel the breath coming through the base of the rib cage right through here. That's your diaphragm. And as we're recovering from exercise after a run, you want to really focus in on those long, slow exhales. So feel the subtle, wide expansion as you inhale, and then as you exhale, long, slow, full exhale. And we'll stay here for about a minute or so. Just continue to focus on your breath and let the body just relax. All done with work, all done with exercise activity, so this is the time to recover. Continue to relax through your breath. Just notice where you're feeling sensations in the body, where you're feeling tightness. And through these several stretches, begin to practice this awareness with what your body's feeling like. So if there's tension in your body anywhere, see if you can bring a little attention there and bring your breath there to try to relax it. And really feel the breath go into the lower back space here. When we're running, we're kind of trying to resist this extension of our lower back, so we don't want the lower back going into extension. And so here you can just let it go and relax into it. So breathe into the lower back space. And then we'll plant the palms of the hands onto the mat, and then start to just kind of rock the hips back and forth. Starting to feel a little bit more into each corner of the hip joint, feeling into any tightness. And the key here is to ease into those corners and to kind of breathe and soften into them, so no jerky, fast movements. So it's like you're kneading or massaging into your hip joint. Take an exhale, kind of settle the chest down towards the ground. All right, then we'll come on up. Next thing we're going to come to is a nice wide lunge stretch. They call it lizard in yoga, but it's just a nice wide lunge. So both hands are going to come inside of the leg. We can start with the right leg forward, and then here's a good place for a block or something that'll bring the ground a little bit closer to you if you're feeling extra tight today. And even if you're not feeling extra tight, sometimes it's good to just give yourself a little bit of space and see what happens. So you want to be feeling this right through the hip flexor here. And then just find a place where you can relax and breathe. So starting to practice that awareness of bringing the breath into those places of tightness. Maybe a little bit uncomfortable, but seeing if you can soften into those places. Focusing on a long, slow exhale, focusing on the diaphragm. So no breathing into the upper shoulders, we're breathing through the base of the rib cage into those lower lobes of the lungs. Allow your hips to become as passive as possible here. You need to hold yourself up a little bit through the arms, but really allow the hips to become passive. Helps to close the eyes and really starting to practice that awareness of what is feeling on the inside. It's called interoception. And you sense your feelings on the inside. And then we'll start to push the front leg straight. So we're going to shift the weight back to the back leg and straighten through the front leg to get the hamstrings. Another good place for the block here is just right in front of yourself. Otherwise, you can come all the way down to the ground or give yourself a little bit of support. And depending on how you're feeling, you might want to walk the leg a little bit more directly into your midline, or you can kind of leave it out to the side, so just depending on how you're feeling. And then coming down, you don't want to round too much through the lower back, so you want to feel like you're kind of tipping the sit bones backwards and lengthening the heart forward. Then once you find that length in your spine, just relax into it. Drop your head if you want to, let it relax, or you can keep it a little bit more upright. So find that breath into the diaphragm again. So when we get into different positions, our breathing might feel a little bit differently, and so it's good to practice that nice expansive breath, whatever position you're in. On long, slow exhales. Bring a little bit of softness into any tension that you're feeling in the body. Last exhale here, and then we're going to shift our weight into the inside hand, so the left hand. We're going to reach and twist up the right side. You should feel a nice stretch to the outer right leg. Take an inhale here, and then exhale, float it back down to the center. All right, so then bend into the front leg again. And then spin the left leg so it's facing straight back. So now the hips are squared forward. We're going to lean into the right leg a little bit. And then here's another good place for the block. And you can go either on the block or onto the ground. And you're going to take your left hand and open it up. This is a good way to open up to the inner hip joint. So depending on how tight you are, that's going to be, your use of your block. You want to feel like this elbow's kind of pushing or helping the right hip to open. And open to the chest, and find that nice diaphragmatic breath. And then slowly close it down. As you exhale, turn your left foot backwards again. And then we're going to turn towards the right side. Let the knee fall out to the side. Kind of push the knee open. I'm going to show you here. So from here, you're going to just guide the knee open here. Let your toes turn with the knee. So you should feel a nice outer hip stretch on this one. And you can turn a little bit. Looking at the back foot. And then here, I always like to kind of shift back and forth a little bit. It helps to get into all those corners, the joint. Don't forget to breathe, find your diaphragm. you're ready, go back to center. And we'll do all that on the other side. Sit back on your hips, and notice how each hip's feeling compared to the other. And then we'll go ahead and bring the left leg forward. So both hands come inside of the left leg, and lengthen the back leg behind you. You can use your block in front of you or hands on the ground, whatever feels best. And then find your breath. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Focusing on that nice slow exhale. Expand through your inhale, so feel, you can start to get a sense of where your diaphragm is and how it moves. It's hard because we can't see it, obviously, it's inside of us. So we have to rely on that interoception, that feeling on the inside, to start to really become aware of it. So seeing if you can visualize the inhale, expanding through the base of the ribcage, drawing the base of the lungs open. And then exhale, let that go. Full exhale, very end. So the hips are nice and passive, and we're focusing in on the breath. To push your leg, front leg straight, and you can bring it a little bit more in towards your midline. I always like to kind of bend it first and tilt my sit bones back. You'll feel your spine lengthen out there, and then lengthen through the leg. Find the heart coming forward, lengthening it, and then exhaling, finding a nice passive, as passive as you can, stretch through the hamstrings. And then you can use your block to give you a little bit more space here if you need it. And just breathe. Find a diaphragm breath. So now we're in a little bit more of a folded up position. So we might sense the belly expanding a little bit more. Maybe we're feeling the breath go into the back side of the body. And your complete exhale. And inhaling into where there's the most sensation in the body. Ready, coming onto that front foot, turn your right leg, the long end of the mat, and then come forward so your hips are square. So face you guys. So your hips are going to be square, your left leg is bent, left inner thighs nice and open. You're going to put a little bit of weight onto that left foot. Have your block in front of your foot. Hand comes down to the block to the ground, and then open up through the right side. So you feel this nice opening through the inner thighs. You let the arm kind of push out. And then you might even feel a little stretch through the chest as you turn the body open. Breathe into your diaphragm. Your head relax. And let your hips just open. Back down to center, come back to neutral, and then we're going to turn towards the left, Let that knee come out to the side, so we're kind of twisting, and then you can take your eyes or your gaze back towards your right foot, and your toe and your foot is going to turn with your knee so it doesn't tweak your knee in any sort of weird way. And then here I like to kind of move around, back and forth, working into any tightness. Body is three-dimensional, so we gotta move three-dimensionally. And that breath through the diaphragm. And then after I move a little bit, I always like to sink in a little bit of stillness for a little bit. Ready, come on out of it, and we'll come back into that child's pose like we did before. Notice if it feels any different. So arms stretch out long, move the hips back and forth, work into the corners, and then eventually sit the hips all the way back, let them sink towards the heels, and find that breath through the diaphragm again. Notice what's different, if anything, and just breathe here. Alrighty, so coming on out of child's pose, we're going to come to a couple stretches to really target the outer hip and then the inner hip. So grab a cushion or a pillow or something for this next one. We're going to get into cow face pose. So what we're going to do, we're going to sit on your cushion. It just gives you a little bit more space for your hips. And then we're going to kind of cross both knees together. So you want to try to stack your knees on top of each other so they're in line. Apparently this makes a cow face. And then if this is really inaccessible, use different blocks and blankets to kind of get your knees to a comfortable place. So you can go underneath of this leg, underneath of this leg, and it helps you just give them the, kind of the support that it needs. And then here's your stretch. You can come forward if you want to, or you can just stay upright, close your eyes and sink into the hips. You should be feeling all this really on the outer side of the hips. Find breath. If you're coming forward, you can use a block. Support your head if you're coming down that far. You don't want to sink too far into any stretch that you feel like you need to hold muscles to support the body. So you want to feel something. You want to feel a moderate stretch, but you still want to be able to let the muscles go so you can get comfortable and relaxed. You can let the muscles really open. Time you might feel like the body starts to loosen up a little bit and release, and when that happens, just let your body adjust and sink into that. Start to work your way back up. Now let's go into a downward facing dog. So swing your top leg around and then just work your way up. Heels press towards the earth. hands press through the ground, and just start to pedal your feet out. Find your breath. Then we'll come back to the knees and we'll come to cow face on the other side. Find your adjustments that you need. Find any support, so blankets under your knees, sitting on a cushion or a block. And I always like to kind of sink into this position here first, making sure that it's comfortable enough to go deeper, if that's appropriate. And then easily and progressively coming forward. And just relax, find your breath. Remember, we're staying with the breath, taking those nice conscious exhales, full relaxed inhales. And slowly come to the ground, make your way back up, and then we're going to come to a wide-legged fold next. Get to the adductors, the inner thighs, so you can stay on your cushion. Legs come apart just as wide as you can today. It doesn't really matter as long as you're feeling the stretch on the inside. And then you're gonna come forward. I just like to have a block in front of me. Just as far as you can go, as far as you can feel that stretch, as far as it's comfortable, as far as you can breathe into it. And then find the breath, find stillness in the body. Taking those conscious exhales, slow, relaxed inhales. Slowly come on up and then make your way over to one side or the other. So I'll start with my left side. You can bring your block with you. We're going to reach towards the left foot, bringing the heart, the chest out over the left leg. And then here, you can place your block right here. So now we're just kind of shifting the stretch over to one side. So find your breath in and out through your diaphragm. Depending on how your body's feeling, you can play around with bringing your arm up overhead, reaching in different directions, whatever feels good. And when you're ready, shift on over to the other side or to the right. After you settle into where you are in the stretch, and find your breath, inhaling into the lower lobes of the lungs, and exhaling, nice complete exhale. breathe into those lower lobes of the lung. It's going to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, bringing us back down to recovery after exercise or a run. You can see how it feels to move the arm up and around. When you're ready, we'll come back down to the center just for a few breaths here. Notice if anything feels different or if anything's a little bit more open. Find your breath. Slowly come on out of that. All right, one more thing we'll get into today. We're going to come into hero or reclined hero or half hero. So hero, what you're going to do is you're going to sit back onto your heels. Knees are going to come fully bend and then start to come back onto your elbows. You want to try to anchor the knees down to the ground so they don't come off the ground like that. So try to anchor down. You want to rotate your tailbone towards your knees, so kind of tucking your tailbone underneath you. And that's going to give you a nice stretch through the quadriceps. And then if you're super tight today, then start with one leg. So bend the right leg so the sole of the foot's flat on the ground. And then kind of work your way back. Keep kind of pressing that knee down to the ground. And tuck your tailbone underneath. So you feel that stretch through the front of the quad. So this is going to be a little bit more active than what we've been doing. You still want to be able to relax to the front side, so that's your quad muscle, and feel like you're kind of pushing down through the front of the knee. And if you're half hero, go ahead and switch. Starting that knee bend, and then kind of anchoring the knee down to the ground, and then tailbone tucking. So you feel that stretch at the front of the quad. And then you're in full. Just gonna stay here, and then you always have the option to come down a little bit further. If that feels okay. Slowly start to push yourself back up with your palms. And go ahead and sit back on the heels. We'll interlace the hands right behind us and squeeze the shoulder blades together so the front side of the chest open. Upper body can get tense too when you run. And just breathe into your open shoulders, open heart. Slowly release. Come all the way down to your back. Keep your feet flat on the ground. Knees can fall together, or you can keep your legs out straight. Place the hands on the belly, and we'll just do a couple minutes of pure diaphragmatic breathing. So bringing your awareness to that, to the base of the rib cage. And feeling the lower lobes of the lungs expand as you inhale. And everything relaxes as you exhale, and begin to practice this sense of feeling of the diaphragm, this interoception. So you visualize a jellyfish moving up and down, these fluid, smooth movements. Stay here for about 2 minutes. be aware of your breath and aware of the sensation that your body is just slowing down and relaxing. Here for as long as you'd like, or start to slowly move the body again. Sweep the knees back and forth. You need to feel your breath and your diaphragm move. And when you're ready, come back up to your seat. Take a seat on your heels or cross-legged. Close your eyes for just a moment. Notice how you feel. For joining me today. I hope you enjoyed and hope to see you next time. Thanks, guys.